Hi there, I'm here today in my 2014 Ford C-Max Hybrid. One of my taillight bulbs is not working fully. The one on the left here is working just okay. This one here is working okay as a driving light, but it doesn't work when I actually apply the brakes. There's also a pair in the tailgate and they're both fine. So I'm going to show you how to change this one here on the passenger side. So the bulb I'm going to use is this 7443. It's the one that Amazon and other car sites say is compatible with my car. So the first thing I need to do is remove this vent slash trim piece in the trunk of the car. You don't actually need to you don't need any special equipment. You just pull it out. Now I just pulled it out a minute ago and it's quite loose. You might need a little bit more force to pull it out, but it's pretty simple. You'll notice here that there's the end of the rear passenger's seat belt. So we move this a little bit out of the way. You can see that there are two connectors. There's one on the left and on the right. They're beigey, very light yellow colored. It's that one there and that one there, and then there's the connector for the power and the signals in the middle. We need to unscrew both the left and the right one in order to remove the tail light piece. So this one on the right is quite loose. Just twist it. Now, the thing to be careful of is to keep your fingers on it at all times. You don't want to drop it back there, because if you drop it in there, it's going to be very hard or impossible to retrieve. Okay, that's one out. So I managed to get the one on the right out quite easily. It wasn't fastened too tightly. The one on the left is proving a little bit more problematic. So you'll notice here, look, there's a slot, a vertical slot that you can place a flathead screwdriver in. So that's what I'm going to try and do to get it out. Alright, now it's loosened it. You can see it's twisting now. Just needed the flathead screwdriver to provide a little bit more, to loosen it up a little bit. Now I can do it with my hands. Keep your hands on it at all times. You don't want to drop it. Yeah, both of those screws are now out. So now we have to remove the tail light completely from the outside. You'll have to pull it. You have to pull it quite firmly. It's still held in by the connector cable, so just keep that in mind. You don't want to like yank it so that you pull the connector cable out and potentially ruin that. Alright, just pulled it out there, a little dirty and dusty, and now it's just hanging on by don't know whether you could see it fully from that angle, but I just needed to press down on this tab here and pull this way whilst I pulled the tail light piece the other way at the same time. So the next step is, you see that there's this shape here and it's held in by 3 connectors. 1, 2, and 3. And the little tab connectors. And so you push down, you can see this one, on my car at least, comes out quite easily. Now, it's been a while since this thing has been removed from the car, so it's stuck a little bit in with the seals. But you see, I pushed down and I pulled up and one of them came free. And now I just have to repeat the same feat on this side. Well, on the other side. Sorry. Alright, there we go. Second tab is free now. Got 2 out of 3 out. And this last one will probably be the trickiest. Push. It's just come out. There we go. Alright, as you see, the problem here is that the seal hasn't been removed in a while. I mean, this whole unit hasn't been removed in a while, so the steel got a little bit sticky to the actual trim piece there. That's what was holding it down. So I'm pushing it back firmly in place. So you can see there's the amber and orange bulb for the indicators, and this one is a little bit darker and grayer. You don't need to wear gloves for this because the tail lights don't get too hot. So what you just do is you can just pull it out. There you go. You can see the light bulb here is a little gray on the inside. Alright, so that's the old bulb. It's a little gray on the inside, and this is the new bulb. You just slot it in there. The polarity doesn't matter, they're wired up so that it should fit if you have it either way. Alright, there you go, it just clips in. Okay. So I'm going to put this back in. Just try and line up this one with the... You can see there's a hole here for the post that threads through. Alright, so the bottom one is in. So this one here is not quite lined up. It's almost there. Not quite. There we go. And this last one. There we go. Snap it in, and it's back in place. So now I need to put this back in, and I'm going to put the connector on. I'm going to test it before I put in the last 2 set of screws. Because if there's an issue, I don't want to have to redo this whole thing again. So now we have the connector here. The tab is at the bottom. Make sure the tab is lined up. And then we're just going to leave this to sit here for a little bit. Well, first things first, I want to see whether it works as a driving light, and as you can see, it turns on. I just use the remote control on my car and to lock and unlock the car, and the daytime driving lights come on. So that works. The connector is fine for that. I just want to make sure that the bulb works. If you have someone with you, this is quite an easy test to do. You just get them to stand outside whilst you step on the brakes. But it's just me by myself at the moment. So I'm not only recording this for your benefit, but I'm recording this for my benefit. So now I'm going to go in my car. I'm going to turn the engine on. I'm going to step on the brakes a few times and then review the video. So in order to put the taillight piece fully in place, I'm going to have to thread this wire, which has come out a long way, back into the hole so that I can push it back in fully. So possibly the easier way to do that, especially because I'm using one hand right now because I've got a camera in the other, is just to pull this cable through. Okay, so that wire is more fully in, so when I maneuver this up, I don't have to try and finagle the wire and move the tail light at the same time. So you've got those posts for the screws, one black connector down here and one black connector here, and those are the things you're trying to line up as you get the tail light piece into place. Now, if you're like me and this piece hasn't been removed in quite a few years, you'll notice there's a lot of dirt that's built up around here. I'm going to use this opportunity just to clean that up a little bit before I put the piece in place. Right, now that that's dried off, I'm going to line up the pieces like I said I would. If you have 2 or 3 of the pieces lined up, push it. Now I've snapped it in, and you'll notice that there's still more of a gap than normal here. That is a larger gap than normal, and it's not fully secured. You'll see here that the tolerance is much lower and the gap is quite tight. That will be fixed once you put these screws into place. So the posts that we had in there, the metal posts, we're just gonna screw these in. So I've got it fitting there. Just feel it. A little easy with my left hand just because of the way it's twisting around. And you can see it's sitting on the post, and I'm now just twisting it. Yeah. I don't want to fully tighten it, just want to get it most of the way in because I want to put the other one in before I tighten it. So this, on the other side of the connector, it's a little bit shorter, this one. Okay, I feel it there. You can see they're both sitting in. both pretty tight now. Alright, you can see that the gap there is a little bit tighter than it was before. It's never going to be fully sealed up. You can always see that there's like small gaps in there. That is what the weather sealing for the actual light holder is for, but you can tell it's a lot tighter than it was previously. So the last thing we need to do is just put the trim piece in place. It only fits in one way, and there you go. Done. So there you have it. I've replaced the tail light on the outermost section of my tail light assembly on my 2014 Ford C-Max. This will work for all C-Max hybrid models that were and energy models that were sold in the US. This whole thing took me about 35 minutes to do. A lot of that, at least half of that time, was me fussing around with camera angles and how to set it all up. So I think even for a novice like myself, it would take 15-20 minutes max if I was just doing it without trying to film it. So there you have it. If you have any comments or questions about this process, leave them in the comment section below. And if you've watched this far and you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. It really helps our channel. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.